Before we start the video, this is a cross promotion for Amino apps. They've made this application here called Off-Road Amino. It is completely free to download for both Apple and Android. Links are down in the description. So pretty much it's a community for dirt bike enthusiasts. Like right here, you can make little quizzes, and that's a good way to kill some time. It's actually a lot of fun. You can join discussions. There's an MX versus ATV Supercross Encore area where you can talk about things. So you don't even have to have a dirt bike. You can just talk about tracks and set up tournaments and stuff like that. You can share tech tips, pictures, set up ride days, have polls for people to vote on, and just a lot of stuff. There's a leveling system. It's a really fun app, so I encourage you to go check it out. Again, the links will be down in the description for both Apple and Android, and let's get into the video. Okay, so here we are. We're finally here with MXGP3, the official motocross video game. No more speculation, no more whatever. We're hands-on checking this out. Now, this is a post-commentary just because that's how it worked out. The first few videos might be like that, but nonetheless, we were playing it. I am on PlayStation 4 for this video. I did try and do one with Xbox One. I have it on there as well. It just didn't run as good. It lagged at Glen Helen. It lagged at several tracks. It just felt poorly optimized, almost like Supercross Encore did at the beginning with the national tracks. Now, I did hear they might be putting out a patch in the next day or so to fix that. That's what someone was saying. I don't know if it's true, but if you're on Xbox One, hopefully you have that to look forward to. But people for PlayStation 4, it runs very smoothly, runs really good, looks pretty good. We'll talk about the game and all that stuff once we get into this race. But eventually, I do want to kind of push to PC. I want to run 1080-60, so probably going to move to PC after a few of these races. But we did grind out the game enough to get the CR250 two-stroke, switch up the gear a little bit, and the little bit playing, I noticed that the two-stroke does feel quite a bit different from the four-stroke, so I'm really glad that they made a distinct difference between the two, didn't just make them, pretty much the same in-game. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. We're going to go check out Argentina on the CR250 and get this going. Okay, so now, like I said earlier, this is a post-commentary. I'm going back in and talking over it a bit. Now, the data setup that I chose to use is pretty much exactly the same as it was in MXGP2. Kind of a starting point. I might adjust on that later, but for right now, it felt pretty good. And we are at Argentina on the CR250 two-stroke. I think it's fully upgraded. I think I even changed the graphics on it, and we did get some gear just because I didn't want to use the stock gear it gave us. But our number's 225 because that's another number that I run sometimes on Xbox. It's not something that I run in real life, really. But the 151 was taken this time. So if you have your number that's the same as a official rider, you're not going to be able to use it. So we're using 225 for the duration of this playthrough. Now, the two-stroke, for me, everything pretty much felt the same. I just don't think it had, I think even the top speed felt a little off, and it didn't pull quite as hard out of the corners, which is awesome. I'm glad that they made it like that, made it a bit more realistic. I think the tracks look great. I think the weather conditions are really awesome. We'll go over that in the next video. We'll do some rain, not in this one, just this race. The one thing I guess I really don't like, okay, I can't say that. There's two things. The load screens on consoles are, like way long. On Xbox, it was really long. On PS4, it felt maybe just a little bit shorter. So I'm hoping on PC, usually it is that way. The load times should be a bit quicker. So load times were long, but that's not really something to make a big complaint about. The one thing I feel like MXGP had done so well is the way the bike and the rider would turn. The way that he turns the bike in MXGP and MXGP2 was always so good. That's something I praise MxoN for being able to do. And we upgraded to Unreal Engine 4 here, well, MxoN did, to make this game. And I feel like when he turns, it just seems stiff. Now, I've been playing long enough now that maybe I'm getting used to it. But I know that's one of the first things I noticed, that he kind of sticks his leg out real fast, real straight, and then just like, I don't know, it just looks weird when he brings it back in. Like, it just showed a little bit, right there when we were turning around that sweeper. It just feels weird. And then the landing feels very, very soft. And I know it's weird to say it feels use the word feels in a video game, but it feels soft when you're playing. Sometimes I don't even really notice the suspension moving too much. I mean, it's moving there, but sometimes it just doesn't feel like you're really landing. You know what I mean? It's just like you're in the air and then you never really landed. Small complaint. The turning reminds me just a little bit of Mud. Okay, I realize it's not fair to compare this game to Mud, not whatsoever. I really am loving the game. I feel it doesn't really feel like MXGP or MXGP2 to me. It feels like its own thing. So I feel like they really totally redid this game. Listen to what the fans wanted. They put the 2-strokes in here. As you can see, there's more. We'll check all of them out eventually. They did tons of stuff that people wanted. The whipping physics are actually, to be honest with you, a lot better. It is still kind of a push button whip, push the analog sticks in, pull them out, whatever, but you kind of have to bring it around, and it just works better. The whip works so much better than it did in especially the second one, and the first one, because the front end would dive on you a lot of times. You still have the preload to some degree, and I don't know, the track deformation's pretty good. It kind of gets, you can kind of see where the dark parts of the track where the lines are getting kind of chopped away a little bit. I don't notice it too much when I'm playing, but it's kind of cool to come around and see that. For the most part, I don't have a lot of complaints. I did mess around with the customization. We'll do a video on that as well. That probably will be the third video. And a lot of it's the same, I guess. A lot of it's the same. I'm stuttering over my words here because I don't really know what I want to say. I'm really happy with the game. And I guess the two main complaints that I have would be, well, one, the load screens, but I can't really count that. That doesn't really count. And two, just the way he turns looks a little weird. But the turning in general feels good. And I guess quote-unquote physics feel a lot better. It feels like you have more control of the bike and rider in the air, even though you're not throwing mad whips or anything like MX versus ATV. It feels like you have more control. It feels like you can turn the bike when you want to, for the most part. Overall, I feel like it was a really good step in the right direction again, but maybe we're not totally there. I'm really happy with it though, and I feel like it's probably even better than MXGP2. At first I didn't think so. Graphically, it looks a little to me, but I'm not going to make a full judgment on graphics until we get it on PC, so I can compare it that way. Now, something really cool here, when you come over the finish line, if you start to throw a whip, he will actually finish it, which is really cool. That looks so sick, but it looks kind of goofy here because, I don't know, it just looks kind of goofy when it's finishing there, but nonetheless, it's kind of cool. Now, here at the end, we will see that there are some skills, so there's like a skill system in here, a leveling system, I guess. The more you play, the more you progress, and we had it on realistic difficulty, which can be very difficult, but we play that track quite a bit to grind out skills, so that's the only reason we did well there. We won't do as well in the next videos, but yeah, so there's the CR252 stroke from Argentina. My initial thoughts, I wouldn't say that's a full review or anything, but that's just my initial thoughts, and so far I think it's really good. I'll have to get some more hours in the game till I'm able to make a full review of it, I guess, and I want to check it on PC, but nonetheless, I think it's a good game, and I think it's, at least as of right now, I feel like it's worth picking up. So if you want to see more MXGP3, make sure to hit the like button. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see, what tracks, what bikes, all that good stuff. Next video will be weather conditions, and then the next video after that should be customization. So hang in there, we'll get through this and get it out to you as fast as we can. But thanks for the support that you drop on this series. You guys and girls are absolutely amazing, and until the next video, take it easy.